Okay. Yeah. So I was hitting my stride and I pushed my luck. I should have known, but yeah, I let people get back in here. So I was just letting myself go. So I have no idea when it even fully cut off. So I was talking for a while. So I might end up repeating some stuff I said at the end because just to be safe, I'm gonna try to backtrack a little bit. But yeah, basically that video, that song, like I think there's like a level of vulnerability to it, that I think is you can't really do today, but at least it paints a picture, you know. Is anybody in here who was in the last stream? And if so, can you tell me if I got cut off before I made the point about how women can't even admit that they want to impress men when they go out? Was that something that was well, I was saying how like that video, that song is willing to, it shows you, hey, I want a man. I want to impress a man. I'm willing to admit that I'm strung out on a man, whereas I feel like now, like, you can't even admit something like that. You can't, like, and that's why we have this narrative now online. Like, women try to pretend, like, hey, we get dressed up and made up for each other and not for men. Because God forbid you let men think they have any psychological or emotional leverage on you, So, but if you go to like a lesbian club, if that was the case, you think lesbian clubs would have like the most made up hot dressing women, and they don't. They let that stuff go. But it's not that it's true or false. It's the fact that they didn't feel the need to say it. That I think just shows where we are in this kind of gender war where it's like men want to pretend they don't need women, women want to pretend they don't need men, and all that stuff. And anyway, I think Bad Bitch R&B is kind of in that thing. And both those Tyla songs, in Water and in that other song, there's no mention of the man. The guy could be anybody. It's all about her. In the Sister Sledge song, the woman, the narrator could be anybody. Maximum entry point for the audience. Even a man can kind of slot himself in there, even a straight man, because he can imagine feeling that way for a woman that he's seeing. Like there's a very big universality to it. But there's a ton of specifics about the environment. She's in the world. She tells you about the people in the club. Who's in the club with her is out of town, is touring, even if she's saying bad things about them that they're boring. You're in an environment. There's more to the world than just her. And there's a very vivid description of the guy down to the brands that he wears. And yeah, I think that's the kind of thing. It's very distancing. Your music is distancing, except for like it's only going to appeal to like other kind of narcissistic women. Then your background origin is distancing. Your racial background is distancing. And I think that's where the Breakfast Club thing comes in, because it was a chance to humanize her and relate, because people just can't relate to her already. Her background, culture-wise, class status, the whole bad bitch thing, all this stuff, she's already hard to relate to. And then a simple question about her racial background, she acts weird about. And I wanna play this, right? And I think a lot of people didn't actually see the clip that was a part of the controversy. I think the clip is very telling. So they asked her about being colored, and this is what she says.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
So here's the first thing. She didn't answer. First thing she did is like kind of be like a deer in headlights. Then she looks to her people. Now, a lot of people have been characterizing the way people respond to this question as xenophobia, and there's a lot of the same American bashing things. Everyone says the same thing. Americans don't understand how any other country works. Americans think they're the center of the universe. Americans think they're the only black people on earth. Like, there's all these straw men about happening. Like, anyone else can understand this, but Americans can't. Um, Americans don't respect how other people interpret race or whatever. But if you watch this, that's not the problem. The problem is that Americans don't understand. She never tells them. She never explains it. Like people are acting like she was just casually, calmly explaining this thing, and Americans refuse to get it. But the problem is she acted shady, vague, and evasive, and just all around weird. And it makes people think there's something sinister about how you want to answer the question, or something sinister about the truth, that you just can't be yourself about it. And what happens is that gives people room to project into the answer that you didn't say. And they start imagining things a million times worse than the worst thing you probably really would have said if you just answered the question. And it is a totally fair game question, because that's nothing people trying to say, like, oh, what does she have to do? But she's coming to America to win us over. So she has to relate to us. And the other thing is, her music says nothing about her except that she's a bad bitch. So people desperately want to find something to connect with you on. They want to know what your background was like, what it is, you know? There's only a handful of women who are happy with just, she's a bad bitch. And I want to be a bad bitch too, so I'm happy. Like, most people want to connect with something. So that right there is pretty bad. And I blame her people for that, because there should have been better media training. This is what I mean when I say I think she might be socially awkward, but because she's hot, but also because she also has so much bad bitch music, people aren't going to really read this as, okay, she's just socially awkward, the way it's easy to see with a guy. It's easy to just kind of interpret it as, okay, she's just stuck up. There she looks.
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the end.
And you know what it is too? She doesn't say a word when she does it. It's like she looks at the help like a queen or something. Like, can you handle this? Or at least that's how it looks, right? And look how she tosses her head back and tosses it forth. And these like ways of giving off body language that could be very off-putting. Even the person doesn't consciously, like I think about these things a lot, so I consciously can't pick up on these things. But I think even if you weren't explicitly pointing it out the way I am right now, I think there's probably a part of you that unconsciously picked it up. And when people kind of feel put off by this, they're reacting to that, even if they don't know exactly what her expression, how she tosses her head back and forth.
About your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
She tosses her head back.
Can we? Yeah.
Handle it.
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like.
Then she looks back. Is that a good enough answer for you? You know, like she didn't even. She was too good to answer it for herself. My hands don't touch a wheel. I have a chauffeur for that. My lips don't even shut you down. I have a PR person for that. Do you see what I mean about how she's forming a kind of consistent image? Right? I think most people kind of know about Doja Cat's background, but I think they're more stuck on her racial chat rooms thing that it doesn't. I also think there's more to relate to Doja Cat on, because she's like a American girl from Cali. So I think people just kind of like, I think Tyla is such a mystery and so kind of foreign to them. Like even on the surface where they ask them or anything, I think people just can't think they know who Doja Cat is. Oh, she's like a white talking black girl biracial girl from California. You know? But yeah, like the thing with her too is I think she just answered the question because people are just curious. They want to know. It's something different. And I think the fact that she didn't trust the audience to understand it, and she didn't even give him anything, it makes him think like the worst. because people were like, "Oh, Americans are so dumb," because they think the South African definition of colored is the same as the American definition or whatever. And I was like, well, you know what? If they had a misconception, a lot of it's her fault because she never explained what it is. She just shut the question down. She gave them room to make that mistake. And yeah, I guess technically they could have done the work and Googled it and searched, but you can't put that on people, not on the internet. It's anti-intellectual era. And also, like, they don't know if they like you yet. With that act, with that shady type of way you acted, you might turn them off from even trying to investigate more. They just know, okay, she's hiding something. Why would she be weird about the word colored? Right? If being colored is so innocent and different in South Africa, and it's something like, there's nothing wrong with, why are you afraid to talk about it? If you're afraid to talk about it, to me, an American, it must be because I'm not gonna like the answer. And then that makes you start searching for reasons why she would hide it from you and bad interpretations. You put it in a position to think the worst because you make it a big deal. She could have just answered it very simply. And I think a lot of people would have been interested. They would have been like, wow, we never knew that before. But she didn't do that. And people keep leaving out that she never told them what it actually means. They just try to blame it on American ignorance or American refusal to understand. But and if you look at the question, it wasn't an out-of-pocket question. He said, what is that about? What does that mean? Like we're curious. You're here to sell yourself to people. Let them know. They might be like, wow, I never. And also, like, a lot of these FBAs and ADOS or whatever, there's this word they have for people of immigrant descent. They call them tethers, and it's based on the movie Us. And it's this idea that foreign Black people try to come in and camouflage under the radar and try to hide their differences so that they can kind of like be like pod people or imposters and kind of pretend to be like, I'm just like you, but then hide the way they're different. And I think she added to that fuel to that fire, because now people are thinking like, wow, somebody asked her something about her culture and she's being shady and hiding it. Like, she's singing like, the kind of music we like mixed with Afro beats, and she's wearing braids, and she's like, looks like us, but maybe like, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, she's not like us. So what is she hiding? Is she trying to pull a fast one on us? Yeah, and again, the only break, I've never seen the Breakfast Club make anybody. It's the funniest thing. For people who are new to this is a running joke on Champagne Sharks that nobody ever gets made by the Breakfast Club. It only hurts people. And I don't know what it is, but it gets so much eyeballs. People feel obligated to keep trying. But there are so many casualties of the Breakfast Club. One day I'm gonna do an episode called Casualties of the Breakfast Club, where I put them all together. Yeah, that's where Tethers is from. It's from us. And that's what it means. That, they look like us, but they're secretly not, and they have nefarious purposes. So yeah, I mean, that she made it weird, and then then it got even worse later because Charlemagne revealed that her people told them not to ask the question. So now it gets even weirder because people are like, why can't you even ask the question? So of course people are gonna start thinking it's something nefarious about colored, because you didn't want to answer it, you acted weird, and then it gets revealed that you didn't want to answer it, you didn't even want to ask. And Charlemagne asked anyway because that's how he gets down.
That we keeping that in the interview too.
Shut up, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like that. That's good. That's even better. All right, Tyler.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
No.
No. Good.
I'm good. Why you guys?
We got some more
because the label.
Yeah, see, so it just got really weird. It got really weird, and a lot of her defenders started saying stuff like, I saw this all over the place. People were saying stuff like, "Oh, you guys are so hard on her," but she explained it over and over again, and you guys weren't getting it. She explained it over and over again because the only thing people do in the internet, they just lie. If they want to defend someone, they just make up alternate histories. And I kept asking people, maybe it's true. And if someone's watching, want to give me links in the comments, you know, please let me know because I'm down to find out, you know, if I'm wrong here. But people kept saying, "Oh, she explained it a million times." I kept saying, "Where? If all these clips existed, they would have gone viral by now. You guys would have been posting it." Like they started making up this narrative that she explained it millions of times, and everyone was misconstruing it and turning on her. So now she didn't want to say it anymore. And I've seen no proof of that. I've never seen her discuss it. And I don't see how that can even be a thing if her label is banning it as a question. Unless they're saying that it was banned as a question precisely because it was asked so much, you know. But as far as I could tell, that's a lie. That, you know, she was asked this and explained it a million times. Everyone turned on her. The other thing people say is, "Oh, well, if she did say it, everybody would have hated her anyway." Because, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. Maybe not. But check this out. I'm going to show something right now. What I wanted to show is this. This is from 9 years ago. It is a compilation of people answering what colored means in American media. And when, what's his name, Trevor Noah first came to America, he was asked this a lot. And he would just explain it. He put it in his comedy, and people were like, "Huh, okay." Now, to be fair, 9 years ago, Black internet wasn't today's Black internet. I'm going to be totally fair. You know, I don't want to be in bad faith here. There weren't FBA and ADOS and colorism and desirability politics crowds and all these different like agendas. So it was an easier audience back then. But I still think, even though a lot of those people today, if she just handled it the way these people handled it, even though I admit there'd be a camp that would still be unmoved, I think that's not everybody. I don't think it's fair to paint everybody with that brush. I think a lot of people would have just been fine with this type of answer. So check out this clip.
I'm wondering, over in South Africa, what are you guys addressing socially in terms of social issues? And then you just use the word nigga. And so I'm curious, what does that mean for you guys over in South Africa?
Well, for us, basically, if you're a person of color, you see me, I'm a colored person. And so in America, that means something totally different. All right. So I might need to give you a history lesson. So how it works. So basically back in the days, right, in South Africa, there was the native African people living, you know, just chilling, kicking it, doing whatever it is they do. And then the Europeans came on their boats and shit. And then they basically said, "Oh, that, you know, ooh, that ass," or something like that, right?
Yeah, they start sleeping with
them. So years later, now we have a whole race of people, me, which is what you call colored people in South Africa, and you have obviously African people and so forth.
What y'all say?
Like I was just saying, like at home we say colored. Which
okay, for people who don't know, this is a compilation. That's why the person interviewed keeps changing, in case you're getting confused.
Is mixed race, and here mixed race, you know what I mean.
Mulatto.
So here colored is like black, right?
Yeah, colored.
Yeah. So like colored is actually mixed race. That's not black in South Africa.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mixed race is like it's like a dish.
Can you articulate, and I've tried to, you know, the difference between how racism feels when you grow up in a country like America or even South Africa, where separate is law.
Yeah.
Based on complexion.
Yes.
Right. And in South Africa, I've never been, but it is, you have the coloreds, is that right?
Yeah, you and I would be labeled
coloreds,
as colored,
right? Yeah. Because we're mixed.
Exactly.
And then you have Afrikaan,
yes,
which is...
So you see, like, people just ask, they're curious. They don't know. Yeah, I got a clip for the music. Yeah, they don't know. So you just ask and they'll tell you.
That's white though. So basically it broke down into the whole point of apartheid was to separate people into racial groups, to divide them, because they were the majority. And you need the minority, which was white, was trying to control everything. So
separate everybody so you can control
everybody. You have to convince everyone that they are different, so that they are fighting themselves and not focusing on fighting the common enemy, right? So They broke it down. Now, the irony of this is, and this has happened all over the world, you come to a place, you make the law, and the law is black people shouldn't get with white people. Ironically, a lot of the time, those white people that make those laws are tempted by the dark chocolate, you know? So,
I eat Thomas Jefferson.
Exactly. They're going like, you shouldn't fraternize. You shouldn't fraternize with the, but damn, Nicki Minaj. I mean, I can't front. I can't, you know? And then what do they do? They go in, they dabble themselves, and then there's children, the fruit of this
Now, this is what you call good media training.
crime. And then what do you do now? You have to create a new race because you cannot argue. You're like, what is this race? Are you saying that they're black? In South Africa, in America, they just went, oh no, you are black. And in South Africa, they further divided, and they said that we don't want to increase the black population, even though we're physically doing that. So we'll say that this is a new group. We call them colored. And so it's.
And a lot of places did that. The French did that too. The French had like multiple, but not as bad as South African and Brazilians. Like those guys have like 12 different gradations and stuff, right? But so this idea that, oh, if she just explained it, everybody would have hated it. And I want to say this. I don't think this is fair. Like, I feel like you probably just don't like her. So you're just reading her like uncharitably. But I don't think she came in here and thought she could just repopularize that category. She was trying to not talk about it. So like this wasn't what she was doing. Like, she didn't just walk in here and redefine colored. She and her label were trying to not discuss it at all. It's Charlemagne that asked her. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think she did anything wrong. Like, she shouldn't deny where she's from or the system of where she's from. Just explain it. And people understand it, you know? But I don't think this is a fair categorization of what happened. Like, and also, I don't think American people not calling themselves colored anymore has any bearing on whether she calls herself colored by the definition of a whole different country. You know, like it's a whole different context there. You know, so I don't think she thought she could just walk in and repopularize the category. I just think she didn't trust Americans to be able to make the distinction. And in a way, it's like I feel like your answer is kind of proving her right. You know, by you giving her that uncharitable reading. You know, like and like I don't think that's what she was doing. Although I do think she handled it very badly. She came off really kind of snotty. I think her music already primed people, and this is why I was bringing up Bad Bitch R&B. I feel like that kind of music and the image in the music and the lyrics of it, it subconsciously primes people to already think you're arrogant. You know, you're already like not talking about touching the wheel. You know, you're already talking about flying first class everywhere. No one's even seen you. You're already saying they've never seen a girl from South Johannesburg like me, and now I'm the new standard. You know, it definitely doesn't help. And I'm going to end it there, but I'm going to put one last thing that I think helps show why I think little things like those lyrics were subtly influencing people. So this woman is one of the people who was making videos about her. And I find it very interesting what she says here. I want to play this real quick. I'm going to play this in full another time. I'm trying not to do like super long 2, 3, 4 hour streams like before. So I'm going to break up this topic over a few days. So if I keep talking about Tyla, I don't want you to think, oh my God, you're so obsessed with her. It's not that. It's that there's a bunch of videos and points I want to make, and I just don't want to put them in one thing. So I might follow up with like 15 minutes here, an hour here, 20 minutes here. But I think it's an interesting topic, not because I'm like obsessed with Tyla or I'm hating on her, but I think it shows a lot of the weird schisms in the Black internet that exist right now, but also the deficiency we have in talking about it. Because everyone I see talk about it, it's like everybody has a set of tools. And it's like if your only tool is a hammer and a paintbrush, then every problem you see, you're gonna try to turn it into a problem of nails and paint. You know, like you don't have any versatility. So everyone who talks about this just comes in with whatever's in the tool bag. So people come in and talk about colonialism. I don't think you need to break down colonialism to understand this. Like, you know, people bringing up colonialism and imperialism and how colonialism and imperialism affected the Black American mind and that caused their reaction to this. No, I just think her music's a little stuck up. And then she has bad media training and is awkward. And people are already thinking she was stuck up because of the music. And then the bad media training just compounded on it. And I just think that's enough. And there's a lot of weird splinter groups out there on the internet that I think a good PR team that studies the Black internet should have been aware of and have been careful not to trigger them off. I think it's a very predictable mistake. I think it's very simple. So people talking about imperialism and colonialism and capitalism and talking about colorism and desirability politics and, you know, bringing up whatever their favorite, you know, stuck on concept is that their whole channel is about, and just making it about that, you know, and all that stuff, featureism, texturism. And I think we're kind of limited in that respect. So anyway, and xenophobia is not a popular one, but check out like what this woman says.
People are going to learn to deal with this reciprocity from Black women. If you're an artist like a Tyla that's coming from an African nation, a Caribbean nation, y'all are trying to make an imprint here. Y'all are going to learn to stop getting started. Well, we're not like you Black women. We're different. I'm not just another Black girl. I'm a pretty little girl from Joburg. Like, we get what that is. We understand tone.
So you see what she said there, right? She's talking about stuff and then she throws in the lyric. And that's why I think low key, even though you think I'm reaching, I think that lyric stuck in people's head. Also because it was a meme. If you were on TikTok or Instagram, you probably heard that like 5,000 times by the time that meme was expired. So it's like, I don't think it's a reach to think like that lyric and little things like that kind of colored and prepared people for a certain type of confirmation bias, you know? Yeah, so that's it. I'm done. We'll talk about this more later. Are we still playing? Because I feel like nobody's responding in the comments. It just went kind of quiet. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, if you're still here, let me know. I just want to make sure I didn't get clipped for copyright again or something. Because I can't always tell. It doesn't tell me on my side. Anyway, that's it. I hope. Oh yeah, I'm still here. Okay, good. All right, yeah. So those are my thoughts on it, and I'm gonna react to some other videos on this topic. And the reason why I react to them is because I think they get them wrong in an interesting way. And I want to respond to some other videos later in the week that, you know, come in and just try to use the same 4 or 5 predictable Black internet topics to end up discussing it. And I think it's shows how limited we are in our discourse ability on the Black internet. All right. So yeah, everyone be good and we'll talk soon. Later.